Hey guys, let's talk about 5 things you can start doing right now to increase your chances of reaching the goals that you set. The first one that we're going to talk about is to focus on the actions and not the results. Nearly all of us set goals that sound something like this. I'm going to reach $1 million revenue in my business in the next 5 years, or I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next 90 days. But what we're forgetting is that each of those things focus on the result we want to create, which, as we've talked about in previous videos, the result is actually a byproduct, right? So in order to make yourself more likely to reach the goals that you set, you want to focus them on the actions that need to be taken in order for those results to naturally occur. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds the next 90 days, you're going to want to set goals that sound something like, my goal is to go to the gym at least twice a week for the next 90 days, or something to do with eating healthy, or whatever actually focuses on the actions versus the results. If your goal is to build $1 million business, you're going to want to focus more on the actual activities that lead to a multi-million-dollar business actually being created, right? So that's number one. Number two is to use your calendar more than your to-do list. This is something that I've just discovered recently, and I've had to-do lists for years. I've tried them all. I've tried everything from sticky notes to fancy apps I've paid a lot of money for that sync effortlessly between my laptop and my phone. And what I've found is actually surprisingly simple, that my calendar works best. So think about it. If you have a to-do list that's over here and you have a calendar that's over here, and you obey your calendar, right? Because these are meetings that you've actually established, but your to-do list are things you really need to get done. What happens is there's sort of a separation between those two things, because the things on your to-do list actually need to make it over to your calendar in order to get done, right? Otherwise, we're just kind of hoping we end up having time for them. Well, if the things you put on your to-do list are actually really important to you, why not go straight to your calendar? So today, one of the things that I do to make myself more likely to reach the goals that I set is I don't use to-do lists at all. If there's something that I need to do, like I need to call Matt tomorrow morning between 8 and 9, I'm not going to put that on a to-do list that I have to keep track of. I'm going to go straight to my calendar on my phone, and I'm going to actually put an appointment from 8 to 9 to call Matt. That way nothing else gets in the way. I know exactly what I need to do with that period of time, and everything that needs to get done gets done. The third thing you can start doing right now to increase your chances of reaching the goals that you set is to use the power of habits. A lot of us wake up every morning and we use a crazy amount of willpower trying to drive ourselves to take all the right actions throughout the day. And that actually isn't necessary. If you focus on using habits versus your willpower, you can actually automate most of the things that you need to get done each day so that they get done with very little willpower. And that's super important, because you need that willpower for challenges that come along that you weren't expecting, or you, for whatever reason, only get 3 hours of sleep that night and you've got a ton to do the next day, and you need to be able to really rally yourself and pull yourself together. If you've automated a lot of the main things that you need to get done in your day by turning them into habits, then you'll have that spare willpower to get you through those challenging situations. The fourth thing that you can start doing right now to increase your chances of reaching the goals that you set is to get accountability. Now, a lot of times people look at high achievers and they go, how in the world do they get so much done? How are they so motivated? How are they so productive? What they don't see is oftentimes there's a huge support network behind these people of mentors, oftentimes even business coaches, personal coaches, accountability partners. I have all of those. And so every week I'm meeting with a personal coach of mine who knows my fitness goals, my spiritual goals, my family goals, knows what I really want to get out of life. And every week when I meet with her, she asks where I am. That accountability works. It really drives you. The same goes for a business coach or accountability partners who know the commitments that you have in life and can hold you to them. We aren't meant to do this alone. Building a business or striving for any other big, meaningful goal is hard enough on its own. So don't try to do it without the support of other people. The fifth and final thing I'm going to share with you today that you can start doing right now to increase your chances of reaching the goals that you set are to become your own biggest cheerleader. Now, as I started saying that, you might have thought that I was about to say become your own biggest critic, but there's no need for that, because we already, most of us, are our own biggest critics. Now, if you really think about it, when we say that, it's something that makes us feel good, right? Because we feel like being our own biggest critic means that we're really hard on ourselves and we really push ourselves to be our best. We're doing everything that we can. But that's not really the best thing to do. It's a counterintuitive principle, because think about when somebody else criticizes you. How does it make you feel? Are you more motivated after you've been shut down and criticized by somebody, or are you less motivated? When somebody gives you a big compliment or encourages you, does that make you more motivated or less motivated? Obviously, when people are kind to you and encouraging to you, it builds you up. It makes you want to work harder. It encourages you. So it only makes sense that you would do the same thing for yourself. One question I heard somebody pose a long time ago that really changed the way I thought about this type of thing was this. If one of your best friends all of a sudden started talking to you the same way that you talk to yourself when you're alone, would you still want to be friends with that person? Because if the answer is no, then that's a problem. Nobody's closer to you than you are. Nobody has a bigger influence on you than you do. So pay close attention to the way that you talk to yourself, because it really is important to be your own biggest cheerleader. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this whole principle of being your own biggest cheerleader is that you don't want to delude yourself into thinking that you're on the right path when you're not. If you're making mistakes, if you're going the wrong direction, if you're moving away from the goals that you're setting, don't kid yourself by positive talk like, oh, everything's gonna be great, I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds by next week, but meanwhile, you're not even going to the gym, or you're not even actually working on creating an idea that will add value to the world. You wanna be honest about your current state and what it's gonna take to get from there to the future state that represents your goals. However, you do want to talk to yourself in a way that's kind, that's encouraging, and you do want to stop these behaviors that beat yourself down and make you less likely to be motivated and encouraged while pursuing your goals. Hope this has been helpful for you. I would love to hear your feedback on this topic, so there's a comment section below. You know how to use it, and I hope to talk to you soon.